happy to meet you, first of all. I want to start at the very beginning and just kind of ask you about that experience being on the city AAU team with Donovan back when you were, what was it, 13, 14 years old, and kind of what that experience was like and kind of how you guys built a connection then.
I would say we built the connection strictly because we grew up probably 500 feet away from each other and went to the same church. And then when we started actually playing AU together, I walked into a AU tryout and he was there. And we're from the same area, so again, like being able to play with him now is a great experience. I mean, we our families put a lot into each other. I mean, my dad used to drive him down. His parents used to drive me down. So it's like we went through this together, and now that we're both here, it's a big blessing. So that's how that connection has been built.
Right, next up, Sarah Todd, Deseret News.
Eric, I'm just wondering kind of what the reaction between the two of you were when you found out that you were going to be signing with the Jazz. Who called who? What was that conversation like between you and Donovan?
We were both pretty excited. It's funny because we have the same agent, so that's part of the connection too. Is just I signed with his agent, and Ty's done a good job with the both of us. I feel like so. Again, he called me and said it's you're getting traded to the Jazz, and we're both pretty happy. So.
Ryan Miller, KSL, next.
Hey, Eric, could you kind of just take us through how you learned about the trade and kind of what your initial thoughts were about the team fit?
I learned it. I learned about it slowly. Obviously there was the rumor going out, but I didn't know if it was really going to happen. And then again, my agent called me, was like, "Look, you about to get traded." So I was pretty happy. I feel like I'll fit. I've had a few good conversations with Coach Snyder, so I feel like it's gonna work, and I'm excited for the new start.
Jim Conlon, RCB Radio Sport out of Ireland.
Hi, Eric. Eric, you go from the Golden State Warriors, where there was plenty of competition in a locker room with Steph and Draymond. You go now to the Utah Jazz, and on a day where Rudy Gay, Hassan Whiteside, and obviously Mike Conley the same day are signing on for the Jazz, it's competition at another level again. Do you feel really motivated?
Yeah. Again, in my career, I would say nothing's been easy. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for a new start, and excited to compete with those guys. So again, it's a journey, and I'm pretty excited to just be a part of the Jazz organization.
Tony Jones, The Athletic.
Eric, you had a terrific rookie season. Obviously, you're all rookie, and you had some setbacks last season. What did you learn, good and bad, from each of the experience? Because your two NBA seasons have both been kind of, I don't want to say polar opposites of each other, but they've kind of gone differently.
You got to just work every year. Again, it's all part of the journey. It's all part of what the NBA is about. You have to keep solidifying yourself in this league and keep making sure that you are playing. So again, you just got to keep working and keep solidifying yourself every year.
Ben Anderson, KSLSports.com.
Eric, what do you know about Utah? What's Donovan told you about the team, and kind of what do you expect in that sense?
I would say be ready to shoot a lot of threes. I already know they put them up, so I'm excited, and I've been working on my three all summer. So all I know is you have to be ready to play shoot threes. But it also kind of reminds me of my college days at Villanova. Coach Wright used to teach us catch to shoot, and the year we won the championship, I think we set like the record for the most threes like in an NCAA season. So I'm pretty excited, and I'm pretty again I know what I'm getting into, and I'm very excited to be a part of it.
Nayo Campbell, UtahJazz.com.
Hey Eric, welcome. You mentioned a lot about just being excited to come out here, but I really want to know what excites you the most. Is it the relationships? Is it the fan base? or just kind of what your role will be? What excites you the most?
Probably just a start of a new, you know what I'm saying, new journey. I mean, again, everybody has their journey, and the fact that I get a fresh start with a new team is it's a great feeling. So that I feel like that's something I'm very excited about.
All right, we have a follow-up from Andy Larson, Salt Lake Tribune.
Eric, I presume Quinn's talked to you. What was that kind of conversation like? What did he tell you, and kind of what do you envision your role will be on next year's team?
We talked a lot. I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but we just had great conversations. Just he's trying to just get to know me, and again, just having non-basketball conversations just to build a relationship.
All right, and another follow-up from Sarah Todd, Deseret News.
Eric, obviously, like Tony said, you had a great rookie season, and then things seemed to teeter off a little bit last season. How do you view last season kind of in the realm of your development and as you're progressing?
Again, probably something that's just like nothing's going to be easy. I mean, there's going to be setbacks. You can't just have a perfect career, and again, you're going to go through obstacles. So that's something that I've learned from it, and I just going to continue to learn from.
Ryan McDonald, Deseret News.
Eric, this might be common knowledge, but I don't know for sure, and I just want to clarify. So you and Donovan, were you guys friends before the AAU stuff, like when you were younger than 13, 14, or
Yeah,
is that
like
when it started?
No, like I've known Don since I was probably like 6, 7. Like he grew up right down the street, and I've known him. We went to the same church, and we've been playing AAU since we were 8 together with Riverside Church. So I mean, our Riverside Church team, it was me, him, Ty Jerome, who plays for the Thunder now. So, and Ty Jerome's dad was the coach. So me and Don know each other for pretty much our whole lives.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Ben Anderson, KSL Sports.
Eric, I know in Golden State, Steve liked to play a lot of small lineups and got used to playing Draymond at the 5. Jazz needs some more positional versatility. So how many positions are you comfortable playing on the floor?
I mean, whatever puts me on the floor, to be real. I mean, I'll try to adjust however I can. Probably 3 positions for sure, but again, I'm just trying to fit in and find a way on the floor. So, every way I could do that, I'll play that position.
All right, we have a follow-up from Jim Conlon out of Ireland.
Hi Eric, I just wondering, you went in 2019 in the 41st pick of the NBA draft, and do you feel motivated by that? Do you feel that you should have gone a lot higher up the draft class?
I mean, at the end of the day, not really. I mean, again, you gotta still play, and that's where no matter where you get drafted, you still got to produce somehow and find a way on the floor. I mean, Jokic was drafted 41st as well, so it's like it doesn't really bother me. You got to find a way on the floor and you got to play. So it doesn't really bother me at all.
Hi, Rudy. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
I'm wondering, after all these years, did you think that you were gonna reunite with Mike Conley again?
No, I didn't. You know, what's funny is me and Mike always text and talk. We've been talking ever since I left the Grizzlies. But you know, he's always been the guy that, you know, I've talked to about, you know, whether it's injuries or situations or anything. I've always talked to him, kept in contact with him, and it's funny now that we're teammates again. But you know, he's always been the constant guy. He's a great guy, and you know, I'm happy I'm back with him.
Did you get a chance to talk to him?
Yeah, I've actually flew here with him, so. You know, and talking to him about Salt Lake City and where to live and all that stuff. He's been my tour guide.
All right, Tony Jones, The Athletic, up next.
Rudy, is this sort of a full circle moment for you? And what is the motivation for you? And I know this is an obvious question, but what's the motivation for you in search of potentially winning a championship?
I mean, it's my legacy and be a part of something. You know, what do you do this for? What makes you go? And you know, after 15 years, you know, this is obviously what makes me go. I'm in Salt Lake City to win a championship, and that's it.
Ryan Miller, KSL.
Hey, Rudy, good to meet you. You've been successful on kind of adapting your game to fit teams' needs. How do you kind of go about doing that when you get to a new team?
It just comes with being just being a spectator and knowing what the team needs and being a fan of the game. Like when you watch a team, you know how the team plays and you know what they need. So when I come to a team, I just try to be that. That's it.
Naomi Campbell, UtahJazz.com.
Hey Rudy, so what excites you most after 15 years of being in the league? This is still a fresh start. What excites you most about coming to Utah?
Just competition and being a part of a winning mentality. That's great for me. That's refreshing to me. Just being a part of something and adding yourself to a winning culture and showing the team what you got. It's always different to play against a team, and once they see you, you always add something different and try to be a different player than what they expect.
Andy Larson, Salt Lake Tribune.
Like just talking about that, kind of what the team needs. Last year, kind of the perimeter defense against the Clippers, that kind of was the concern.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you can contribute there? Do you think you can be a difference maker?
For sure. I'm a basketball player. You put me on the court, I'm gonna make do, I'm gonna make way. Like you said, perimeter defense was something that that needed to be worked on, and I'm a guy that you got to keep on the court, I believe. So, I'll do whatever it takes.
Ben Anderson, KSLSports.com.
Hey Rudy, you haven't spent a lot of time ever in your career in major markets. How did that change your perspective on signing in Utah? Was it more comfortable because you've never played in the highest profile cities?
To be honest with you, when I'm making my decision, I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about the competitiveness. I'm thinking about the team. I'm thinking about, the culture. That's what I'm thinking about. Big cities, yeah, they're great, but when it comes down to winning, it's, that's really not too much what I'm thinking about. If I want to go to a big city or something like that, I just go there in the off season.
All right, we have Jim Conlon, RCB Radio Sport in Ireland.
Hi, Rudy. Rudy, I was just sort of wondering, you said you were coming to Utah to win a championship. Do you almost feel disappointed about your 4 seasons in San Antonio when you joined in? They had Marcus, DeMario Rosen, and it seemed to go from 4 years. San Antonio's decline seemed to be fairly rapid. Do you feel now you're coming to an organization with Utah now that's this real serious contender once again?
Well, I wouldn't take anything away from my time in San Antonio. I learned a lot. I played with some really good players, and maybe I wouldn't say I'm mad about my time there. I just learned a lot, and it takes a lot to be winning, be a championship team, and I think I realized that while I was there.
Cheers, Rudy.
We have Tony Jones, The Athletic follow-up.
Rudy, one of the things that I've heard is that the Jazz beat out a couple of really good teams for your commitment, and not only that it took a minute for you to figure out to kind of decide where you wanted to go. What was the if that's accurate, what was the tipping point for you to be like, hey, I really want to come to Utah?
One, it's the culture. Ownership group is great. Coach Quinn is great. They really sold me on it. But even more than that is, I was a lot of really, really good teams were coming after me and wanted me to be there. But I think this team was the team that had the most need for what I can do. And when you're looking for a team or looking for a place to play, that's the biggest thing. And at the end of the day, I just want to be a resource that teams can use, and I feel like I can be the greatest asset here.
Right, Sarah Todd, Deseret News.
Okay. Rudy, you said that, Utah was a team that needed you. You also mentioned, like, as a spectator of the game, you're able to see where you can adapt to fit into a team. So in that vein, if you're assessing Utah, what are their needs and how is it that you'll fill that role?
What are their needs? I think at this point in the game and how it's changed, you need guys that can play multiple positions. And I feel like I've changed my game to be that. I'm a bigger guy that can play guard multiple positions. That's what it's about. Nowadays in the playoffs. No disrespect to anybody that was on the team before, because obviously they're my teammates and I love them, and the team hasn't changed much. But just have a guy that can be, go and play the multiple positions. I think is very, very valuable at this point.
Andy Larson, Salt Lake Tribune follow-up.
Rudy, what was the thing you got most out of the 4 years in San Antonio with Greg Popovich?
Just a different way of playing. I mean, up to then, I for the most part had been a starter and received most of the minutes. Just learning a different role. I came off the bench there for the majority of the time, and I learned how to complement different players. So, I think that's very valuable going into this situation.
And then with your first conversations with Quinn Snyder, what have those been like, and what have your initial impressions of him been like?
He's a basketball junkie, so am I. So we relate there. So, that's really all I can say. Like he's a student of the game, and I feel like I am also. Even at this point in my career, I like to learn, and it'll be good to be around guys like him.
David Locke, Jazz Radio.
Rudy, I think, at least according to Dow, you played about 8 or 9% of your time as a center last year, which is quite a change from a guy who spent some time at shooting guard when you were first in the league in Sacramento, right? Yeah. How much do you feel you can play? How many minutes do you think you can handle at the 5? And, I heard Larry Nance say this year, like, hey, I'm good there for about 15 minutes, but after that, I'm done. How much can you actually handle playing that role? What's a fair expectation there?
I mean, I don't know. It depends on what the game asks for. The game has changed, so I can't tell you I'm comfortable here or there. But I'm for whatever the game needs. Yeah, I can play the center. I'm not going to say I'm this guy. I play this position, but I'm just a basketball player. I do whatever is needed for the game.
Thank you.
All right, we have time for one more question. It will be Sarah Todd, Deseret News.
Rudy, you talked about that transition going from being a starter usually to more of a role player. Was that a tough one for you to make?
Physically, no. Mentally, it was. You have to change your game. You have to change the way you approach the game. That's basically it. To go from receiving most of the minutes and most of the, having the ball in your hands to being a complimentary player. It taught me a lot, and it's definitely something that I think a lot of young players need to learn, and it's definitely you kind of grew me to be in the situation I am right now.
I think one of the first things that people thought about when the Jazz signed you was the kind of the back and forth that you and Rudy have had over the years. There's been a little bit of trash talk there. And I'm wondering kind of where you land on that. I mean, I guess it's inevitable that you're going to end up on teams with guys that you kind of talk smack with at some point in the NBA.
Yeah.
So where do you land on that? I mean, is it something that, eats at you and you guys really have a rivalry going, or is that kind of just all in the past?
Nah, it's no rivalry or anything. We're just competing. At the end of the day, I'm always happy to see a big man succeed in this league, especially somebody that blocks shots the same as I do, and it's just there's never been any rivalry, but it's just been always us competing against each other. And, we're gonna talk.
All right, Tony Jones, The Athletic, next.
Hassan, you've been on a lot of teams, but from where I sit, this is probably the one team that you've been on that has a chance to go deep into the playoffs. What can you, in your mind, what can you contribute to this specific group. What were your talks with the Jazz in terms of what your role will be for this specific group, and just what are your thoughts on coming to Utah overall?
I'm just excited. Like you said, this is a great opportunity. I really wanted to go to like a contending team. And I talked to Quinn Snyder and Coach Q, and he was just saying like he don't think any other team got 48 minutes of rim protection. I think I'm just this is one of the better defensive teams I've been a part of, and I'm excited. I'm excited to be a part of that. The way they spaced the floor before I went in, and just the way that they dominate on the defensive end. I seen it. I always been a fan of Coach, and just different ways that he always stayed true to his style of play. He never tried to go small. He never tried to waver from what he does, and he always made it work.
Andy Larson, Salt Lake Tribune.
Rudy, where do you think you have the biggest chance to impact the team defensively? Is it on the defensive end, or is it the offensive end in the minutes that you expect to get?
I think both ends. He said I won't get as many post catches as I probably did in the past, but I think I don't really need that. It's the way these guys play. They so spaced out. I think these are going to be the most freest roles I'm gonna have in a long time. And the Jazz is always top 5 in assists, regardless of whatever year it is. So just that in itself is just gonna be a great winning environment, and I think that's the biggest thing. I really wanted a free agency this year, regardless of the money. I just wanted to go somewhere where we gonna win. I don't want to be at home watching the playoffs, like I have the last 2 years. I wanted to go to a team that's ready to win now.
Ben Anderson, KSLSports.com.
Hassan, what have the last couple of years been like? Because you were starting and playing so well in Portland, and then you fell out of the rotation in Sacramento in what was just kind of a clunky fit. What do you think about now being here in Utah and what these last 2 years have been like?
I think it's a great fit for me. I think it's a great fit. Like I said, with Gobert being out there and with me being out there coming in, I think it's a great fit. I think they can keep that paint presence out there, throughout the whole game. And I think the guys are used to playing with a shot blocking big that rolls and dunks, and I think they already know that style, and I think it's a great fit for me. I'm really excited. I haven't been this excited in a long time. So, like I said, they're definitely a contender. You don't accidentally win 50+ games in this league.
Nayo Campbell, UtahJazz.com.
Hey, so welcome to Utah. We've already seen you working out with Royce, and so I want to know, did he give you any tips on the city and the team itself?
Not yet. We were just working out, man. We was just shooting. We didn't have a long conversation. He was just talking about how excited he was, how good of a fit he think it is. And I told him the same for me. I know Mike, I know Rudy Gay. So them two guys that I knew in the past. And I know what they bring to the table. And I played against Utah a lot, so I just know how the crowd is, and I'm just very excited about this.
David Locke, Utah Jazz Radio.
Hassan, Portland seemed to be a really good year for you.
Yeah.
What was it about Portland that was such a good fit?
I think because I had a great relationship with Dame, and I was playing like 30 minutes a game. I haven't played that many minutes in a while, so I always been a guy that's gonna produce when I'm playing. The longer I'm out there, and I thought it was a great. They wanted me to sign. I could have re-signed back there, but I wanted to come to the Jazz and get a chance at this, something new.
And then offensive rebounding has always been a strength. I know the Jazz last year put a huge emphasis on offensive rebounding. Did they talk to you about that as something that was important and part of who they are?
Yeah, like I said, they play their basketball. I think in the era of the Warriors, people was trying to push size out the game. And I mean, you look at the last two defending champions, they got length. With Milwaukee, with Giannis, he's 7 feet, and with Brook Lopez down there, he's 7 feet. With the Lakers, like we even played against them in a bubble, and the one thing that they did was they were just so big, they just kind of like made it problematic for us. So I think with the size that Utah have, we can be a really great rebounding team. And I think I'm just adding more depth to that.
Andy Larson, Salt Lake Tribune.
Hey Hassan, did Dwyane Wade play any role in you coming back to Utah, or kind of that relationship play any part in this, or kind of what are your thoughts on him being a co-owner of the team?
I'm excited. He was one of the first people to reach out to me when I signed. My relationship with D Wade is I look at him as family. I don't talk to him as much as I should, but it's definitely played a role into it. And I always been on the outside looking in of just how every year you guys are just right there. And it's just always a top 5 team. Everybody know you play Utah, you got what they're gonna bring. They're gonna be a great sharing the ball. They're gonna really play hard defense. So I think that's what I really want to be a part of that too. And definitely D Wade being here is definitely a plus.